All right, legends. We've got a special guest here today. There he is, Richard, over here, over in Hamilton, New Zealand. He's the owner of STM Fit. It's a group training facility, and I'm not going to do any more of an introduction than that because I'm going to let the man speak for himself. But he's actually been working with us since the 5th of January. Today is currently only the 24th of January, so that's pretty much 3 weeks, just shy of 3 weeks of working together. But there's some stuff that I wanted to speak with some cool insights and lessons that you'll be able to take away, so you can understand, what it was like, beforehand, and his results that he's got currently working with us. So, Richard, good to have you here, my man.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
So STM Fit, the big thing for us, or I guess we're a little bit different. We've got one mirror in the studio, which is kind of tucked away in the corner. It's there if we need it for form, but I mean, it's not used beyond that.
So we're
So
not
for
going to get
us,
oiled up and do posing, flexing in front of the mirror? No?
you're not going to find mirrors on each and every wall, and you're not going to find people rocking around with kind of 6 or 10% body fat as the norm.
Yeah.
Um,
But
and
who's your sort of ideal person that you've got in there then? If they're not the physique athletes or whatever, what are they?
For them, the biggest thing's normally health, and then how that transfers into them being able to live a better life. So it's them having more energy. It's being able to spend quality time with the family. It's being able to finish work and do stuff post work or do stuff in the weekends. And then the other one, which is hugely important, one of the biggest things when we select trainers, it's on personality and heart. Like they have to genuinely care for other people and be able to train them in the right way. If
I
they
think
don't fit,
that's a critical factor of, like, anyone else listening to this, all other gym owners, of like, that's why people first started, because they had that passion and for people. And then as you grow into a gym owner and as a business owner, you've got to then be able to, like, get people that have the same values, or otherwise it doesn't align and it doesn't work, right?
yeah, well, look at the majority of the industry, and this is what we're finding out, is a lot of people aren't comfortable going into a gym and training because someone won't say hey when they initially come in. The care factor as far as their goal won't always be there. And I mean, the aim really for anyone exercising, they should want to look forward to it and not be stressed out about kind of doing it wrong, not knowing what to do,
Or am I going to
or
get totally smashed and be sick?
yeah,
Yeah.
or a bunch of kind of ego people being there and kind of giving them side glances. So not only are we selective with the trainers, we're selective with the members too. If someone comes in, look, if they've got money, awesome, but if they're not a good fit, it doesn't matter
Yeah, that's what I
because
like to say. If they've got a
they'll
heartbeat in the
reconfirm.
wallet, like, you don't want to be
Yeah,
one of those people that just take anybody like that with a heartbeat in the
no,
wallet. Like, I think it's
no,
great. And so, like, talk to us a little bit about obviously we started working together this year.
yeah.
What was the gym like, before us working together?
So the biggest thing, or the hardest point for us was always lead generation. I mean, the members love it and they'll obviously do the referral side of things, but people get sick, people move away. So you're always gonna get that bit of churn or that bit of drop off. And if you don't have enough new leads coming through, that's a huge issue. So the way I used to do it was super old school. So I'd go out and approach like 40 businesses, give them along the lines of kind of a 2-year birthday pass for us, which was in
Wait, you
short.
used to go see people in person?
Yeah, I know, crazy,
Wow,
yeah.
that's a foreign concept for a lot of people, isn't it?
But yeah, so yeah, I still remember, and this was towards the end of last year, going and catching up with 40 businesses. So meeting receptionist people I never met before, but I mean, they were local, they were nearby. Um, that was a lot of hard yards, and net result from that is we got one member.
And what was the
And
amount of time frame and effort that you put into that?
oh, heaps. Yeah, you're talking. I mean, it's a lot of hours because not only do you have the initial approach, you've got the follow up emails, the follow up phone calls,
Mm.
and there's a lot of barriers there. I mean, if the person you touch base with is not completely on board with it, that's probably as far as things go.
Yeah,
Which
exactly
is,
right. And so
yeah.
how many members did you have starting out before us working together? It's roughly around 50,
Before,
wasn't it?
yeah, before we started, we had around the 50 mark. So in New Zealand, New Zealand's reasonably, I guess, unique with how the holiday thing happens. So some people will come back about mid-Jan, and then you'll get kind of other people slowly kind of coming in all the way up to early Feb when all the schools are back. But yeah, for us, I mean, our membership, and this is looking back across the 2 years, kind of fluctuated anywhere between 50 and 80. And I didn't, before we caught up, see how it was going to get above and beyond that.
So you had what was that feeling like, knowing that, okay, you've been in operation for 2 years, been sort of stagnant at that between 50 and 80. And what does that feel like, not knowing where the next people are coming from?
It feels messed up. And the big thing is, you look at industry and some of them are crushing it. I mean, they've got memberships which are price point even beyond ours. They're booked out. People are paying weekly memberships and not being able to attend classes. And you go, well, hold on a second. How is some of the industry absolutely crushing it, got no issue with leads? And then you've got these other ones, which is a fairly similar setup, where they're just going and going and going and going and not really ever getting anywhere. And that's what got me looking into, okay, look, there must be something here that's missing. It's the only thing that makes sense. I mean, for them to be doing so well and for them to be doing so poorly, there's a piece of the puzzle there which obviously
there's a contrast. There's obviously something that they either know or there's something that they're doing that the other guys aren't.
Yeah, exactly.
And you were in that second category, the ones that like you were like, man, there's something missing.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I mean, it's approaching in person. I don't see how it can work looking back on it, because when you catch up with someone, unless they're in that peak emotional state and that peak kind of buy time, it's wasted time.
Yeah. Plus, they're like, how do you know that they're your ideal client?
Yeah, well, that's the other thing too. You're kind of doing the whole door-to-door sales, forcing something upon them.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, no one likes that. So.
Which, hey, and that's how I earned my stripes in the entrepreneurial game. And I'm telling you, it's the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life.
It sucks.
Yeah. Which is what led me to get into digital marketing. I was like, I've got to be able to generate business better. So that's what led me to here. But this is about you. You had around 50 to 80 members fluctuating. You said you were group training. What was your price points, just so people get a rough idea?
Our price points are 50 per week for
$50 a week, 200 a month for our American friends. And so that's still a pretty, like, for some people listening in America, they might be like, wow, that's still pretty good for a group training gym. But as you said, there's people that charge more than that. We won't name names. There's bigger companies that charge more than that. And you were like, how have they got 300 or more members?
Well,
people can't attend because their classes are so full, and I'm over here with better staff, better product, better service, and still struggling. Like, what's missing? What are you doing? What else? Because you mentioned before we hit record on this that you did your outreach. What else did you do? Some with your personal page?
There's heaps of stuff. So the other one, which is, I guess, kind of funny, is spending a lot of time and effort on, I guess, yourself, your personal page as a brand. So putting up a lot of content in regard to that and trying to draw in people that way. But I mean, that's still messed up. Like the amount of hours you spend in there and the return you get off it.
It's asymmetrical in terms of like output is like massive. Like when we're talking like, say, like 80-20 principle, but it's probably more like 99-1. You put in 99% effort and it squeezes out just that 1% of result. If you're lucky.
I think we dropped 4,000 leaflets and we got 0 from that.
So you've done local outreach, door to door, you've done leaflets,
Yeah.
you've done building up your personal Facebook profile and posting probably like 100 times a day, like Gary Vee.
Yeah.
What else?
School approaches. I think they're still doable, but it's a tricky one because I mean schools are so busy, and whatever relationship you do with them, it's going to require a little bit of work on their end as well. So once again, I mean it's not something you can force.
So we've got a pretty good clear picture of where you're at. 50 members, $50 a week. So that's about $2.5 grand, 10 grand a month. Sorry, 10 grand a month ish. Gross, and then struggling to get leads, basically doing everything.
Yeah.
So let's talk about like obviously then you went into the shopping mode looking for somebody. Tell us about your experience of looking for somebody to be able to help you before choosing.
The other thing we had in the past, we had a couple of different, I guess they're generalist kind of social media content people and marketers. They didn't go too well. They were pretty cheap, but that was a pretty bad experience. There was spelling errors. They weren't delivering things as quickly as they kind of promised, and it got like no real traction.
And then you were trying to do like a pro rata sort of thing, like you got somebody in to do training, and they got to do your social media or something as well, like you're trying to do training.
Yeah. There was a lot of little stuff like that, and us taking that approach. It probably wasn't the best. Like we didn't do the research on our end to have a look in to see how good this person was. Didn't check their reviews. Didn't touch base with anyone they kind of worked with. And funnily enough, a few months down the track, was chatting with other people who also worked with said people, and they were like, "Yeah, dude, it's the same for all of us."
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
So then you obviously went, okay, look. Then you and me started having conversations, and we had a couple. Like, and I'll be completely honest, nobody comes to see me and then signs up on the first conversation, and I don't expect people to do that either, because it's just like, hey, we're filling each other out. Yeah. I got to find out what business you're in, make sure you guys are doing good things, and then vice versa. You got to check me out and say, hey, look, do I like this guy? Is this somebody I want to do work with, and can he do what I want him to do?
Yeah, for sure. And that was one of the things. By being burnt that previous time, this time we definitely made sure we did our homework. So we did shortlist a few different options, and obviously Jimmy was one of them.
Damn! If you're listening to audio, I'm doing a double bicep flex just to celebrate. But
the good thing I found with all the top tier ones is there was a guarantee with regards to minimum leads. Which, I mean, that's straight away a pretty good indicator. Saying, hey, look, if you spend this much on ads, look, you're going to get this many leads. So straight away that's going to be delivered. The good thing with Jimmy is I asked if there was any New Zealand businesses he'd worked with, and yeah. So you said the guys down Wellington. So I gave them a call and chatted on the phone for 5 minutes and just kept peppering them with questions, and they were super happy to answer all of them. So they'd been in business about 4 years, and they got to a point where they were never able to grow any further doing all the stuff that they were doing. And
similar
they said
to you.
themselves, yeah, and they said themselves, look, however bad you are at Facebook and all the rest of it, look, we're probably worse. We're hopeless. And then, I was just like, well, look, how did Jimmy go? Did he deliver what he say he was going to do? How were the lead sides of things? And they were just like, look, he was incredible. He helped us out with so many things. And lead-wise, he gave us so many leads we couldn't call them all. And as soon as they said that, I was like, well, hold on, there might be something here. And
that Jimmy guy might know a little something about something.
yeah. Well, that's the puzzle piece we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And when I was asking about the other top tier ones as well, I actually asked them to go, hey, look, have you got any New Zealand examples of this? And they didn't get back to me with it. which, I mean, that straight away I was just like, well, look, New Zealand example, very similar to our setup, and they crushed it. Who knows? There's too much mystery regarding, this other one. Look, they might be really, really good, but Jimmy's the man. So.
So then you were obviously, like anybody, I can understand, like if you're listening in and you're a gym owner, people are nervous to come and start a fitness program. So you need to do which is understandable. And that's part of the process, but they might feel a little bit weird because they're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be feeling like this or whatever. And the same thing happens when people come to me because it's an investment. They're not sure how it's going to go, but they know they've got a problem and they want it. And so like you were feeling a little bit like that as well, weren't you? Obviously, before we started, there was like that, is it going to work? Is it not going to work?
Yeah, for sure. But I remember, I think since things have kicked on and gone so well, I was chatting with another person recently, and they're in car sales, and they said they've just been crushing it on the Facebook side of things. They did a giveaway where there was $1,000 prize, and they spent $1,000 on radio advertisement. No one turned up. No one even asked about it. And they're just like, look, if we spend this much on Facebook, we actually get something. So it goes to show you've got to obviously do the right approach.
Yeah. And so obviously now we've been working together from the 5th of January to today, which is the 24th of Jan. Tell us a bit about your experience and results to date.
Yeah, no, it's gone absolutely crazy. So, I mean, between the start of Jan and now, we've had more leads than I would have had across the past, couple of years.
In the space of 3 weeks.
So in the space of not even a month. And it's not even that, it's the quality of the leads. So just to give you, I guess, a bit of insight.
Yeah, you got some stats?
Yeah, for sure. So lead-wise, we've just got under, 350 leads so far, 80 applications.
Because applications are the highly qualified part.
Yeah. So applications are great. So they've put their details, they've put down their number one goal, kind of why it's important to them, things that could be holding them back. So you can call them up and you can pretty much just chat through all those side of things.
But also, we tell them the price on there, don't we?
Yeah. And so they put price, are you okay with the price, blah, blah, blah.
And it's the most expensive product you've ever sold too, because we increased your price for this project because we built out more stuff, didn't we? We helped you with the diet and the whole 12-week program.
Yeah. So it's a really, really good package. So it's $59 a week across 12 weeks. And the big thing with those applicants, so it's got the price point on there, and one of the responses you'll see on the Excel spreadsheet is like, take my money, very ready, dollars are there. And you still got to talk to the person, but you know they're good to go. And to compare that to what I was doing previously, so going out and approaching 40 businesses and trying to drag people in to try it for free, I mean, worlds apart.
And so just to quickly tell people through the process, you've got the leads, but then also we're qualifying people with an application, and they're telling you all about their goals and how they're feeling about their body and all the obstacles they're facing right now. Yeah. And also we say, this is how much the program is, and with the price, are you ready? Can you invest that much? Pretty much. And they say, yeah. And they say, yeah, take my money or whatever. But then what are you doing? You're calling them up, right? As you said, and you're taking money over the phone.
So what I found works really well for them is chatting through things with them, and you can talk about what they're after goal wise, and just really get to a point where they're just going yes, and that means you understand what they're about and kind of what they're wanting to achieve. At the end of that, what I'll normally do is ask them when they want to start. And then following that, cool. So you're wanting to start on this date. Are you wanting me to sort this online for you now, or are you wanting to catch up in the studio? That way I can give you a little bit of time.
My man, look at that.
And that works really well. Look, if someone's
But that's no
super
pressure
keen,
though as well, because it's not like you're saying, whatever. You're asking them, when would you like to start, which is a great question, I think. And then also giving them an option, so there's no like you've got to pay now, but it's like, hey, we are going to take payment. What do you prefer?
Yeah, well, because that's the thing. Look, you're going to have people in both categories. Like some people want to be able to visualize it a bit. They want to come in, they want to get a bit of a hands-on feel and meet you in person.
Yeah, they want to shake your hand, see the place, touch the equipment, all that stuff.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's perfectly fine. And I'm more than happy to help with that because they're committing to their health for the next 12 weeks. And it's a $700 investment. So
it's your program, like $59 a week, 12 weeks, that's $708 contract value per person.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, which is some people are just that serious and that good to go that they just want to do card details then and there. You set it up and then you email out and do the rest.
That's perfect. And so $708 is the contract value. We spoke about like getting all the leads, but people want to know, like, have you signed up anybody? So how many people have you signed up?
Yeah, we've signed up quite a few. So there is a lot of these are already up and running, and then some of them are late Jan or early Feb. But yeah, we're at 35 new clients so far. So
35 paid clients with payment information, not just telling you, hey, yes, I'm keen, and then not showing up or anything. These are 35 paid in the space of the 24th of Jan. The 5th of Jan to the 24th. 5th of
Jan through the 24th, yeah.
Which is like less than 3 weeks. And so that's more than 10 a week on average.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I mean, some of them are just that serious about it that they're just lump sum. So they're just like, look, I want to make sure I do this here. Or otherwise they're set up on obviously payments across the week. But it's so good to have just primed leads, people good to go, and not to have a whole bunch of time wasters. And this is going back to the old school version, because we didn't have many leads. So you had that whole lead desperation thing. So you'd be arranging to meet them at 5:25 a.m. and partner up with them for the first class. They never showed up.
Ghost town.
Oh yeah, no, I'll be there next time. And I mean, that side of things sucks. Whereas when you've got so many quality leads, when the ads are running, my computer's just going ping, 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 ping. I'll have a quick look and I'll be like, fuck, I need to call this one now. And they'll say to me, they're just like, yeah, wow, that was quick. And I was just like, oh yeah, my computer was making all these crazy noises. I figured I'd best have a look and see what's happening.
That's so good. So what's that total contract value? If we do that, what's the total amount of sales? If we go 35 people, what's that in a dollar value?
I think it's just over 24,000. So what's that? 24,780.
And we've done that in 3 weeks for you.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, no, and the other thing, it could have easily been more, because with it getting so busy, I had to tidy up a few systems on my end, just to make sure everything kept going kind of real smoothly. And there's heaps of ones on the sheet that I still need to touch base with. So the ones that wanted...
just to give a bit of insight for anybody listening in, we haven't run any ads this week because he's had to catch up. We had to turn them off on Sunday night. Oh, no, it was Friday last week. So it's been a full 7 days that the ads have been off.
Yeah, and then the other thing...
And you're still making sales.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of applicants where they wanted me to email through details first and then do the phone chat. So I'm tidying that up at the moment. Those emails will go through this weekend, and then I'll be on the phone to them next week.
And people say the fortune's in the follow-up, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Call them once. You've probably had to do multiple phone calls to some people. Like, that's not sugar-coated though as well.
No.
Like, I can't claim that I've done all the work here. What I've done is the marketing side, and I've also, offered sales scripts that I've used there for best practices and a few other best practices on how to deliver this 12-week project, but you've done a lot of the hard work. Like, you have to meet me halfway. Like, you have to make the calls, you have to make
for sure.
you have to implement all this stuff and do the follow-up.
And we were chatting about it earlier. I mean, the time you put in when you've got a good ad system is probably not too dissimilar as a business owner to the time you were putting in previously. You're just putting it in stuff that's growing the business. Whereas before, you're just floundering around trying to make things work. And there is an art to it. I mean, I tried myself with the Facebook side of things, and I just got no return. Like, I was spending money on ads, and the quality of the leads coming through wasn't all that great. And it's because there's quite a few little intricacies to it. In which case, look, it makes perfect sense to outsource it. I mean, I'm more than happy to chat on the phone or meet with someone who's keen to sign up kind of there and then. And I love that side of things. Because that means me along with the trainers, we get to help that person to obviously get to wherever they want to get to. And then the other thing, all of your other growth elements just get added on top of it. So your brand
I
awareness.
remember you were saying just before the call, like, this isn't not just sales though, because what happens is, like, you mentioned something there, and to clarify, like, probably to put it in a little nice tidy box, is focus.
Yeah.
You were doing things, and you were doing things with 100% intensity, but on the wrong things. And now you have the right marketing in place that's attracting the right type of people. But that's still same 100% intensity, because I'm not doubting for a fact that anybody that's listening to this or watching this, you're not working hard. Like, I don't doubt that for a second that you're not working hard. Like, you are. So, like, let's work hard on the right things. And what happens now is that you've had to brush certain things aside, right? So you can just focus on this.
Yeah, and it's more working to your the points for yourself that are really, really valuable. Like, we had to get a cleaner in, which, I mean, that's great. That person loves cleaning. I'd rather be on the phone calling people. And then there's lots of other little things within there.
That's a better use of your time. Like, think of it. Let's just say, for a roundabout number, cleaner is $20 an hour, and it takes 2 hours to clean your gym. So that's $40 you're paying somebody to clean your gym. And in that space of 2 hours, how many sales could you make? And each sale is equivalent to $708. Even if you made one sale, that is like a 10x, or no, 20 times return on that time that you spent, rather than what you would have done in the gym.
Well, and remember, as I was saying, and this was when we were chatting a while back, there was one point where it was just boom, boom, boom. And in 30 minutes, three people signed up. So, I mean, how much cleaning does that cover?
Yeah, that covers like nearly a year's worth of cleaning.
A lot of cleaning.
Yeah.
But from the brand side of things too. So, I mean, your people being aware of your studio and the Facebook side increases heaps too, which is really, really good. And then the other good thing with Jimmy is, I mean, even with just the marketing and the leads generated, easily worth value, but he'll also touch base on a lot of the other business aspects, because he's had 3 of his own studios, so he knows an industry what works and kind of what doesn't work. And the last thing you actually want to be doing is not being true to yourself as a brand. So where you just end up copying what kind of everyone else is doing, and you do that to your detriment. Because, I mean, they're big global brands. It doesn't make sense for you to do the exact same thing. And often what they're doing isn't too amazing. Well, at least not across everything.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I appreciate that, because marketing is one piece of the puzzle, and it's usually the biggest piece that a lot of people struggle with, and I can help with that. But then, as you know, once you start getting, because I think in previous phone calls we've had to this, is that your full scarcity now and ultimate abundance of leads.
Yeah.
And that brings a whole new set of problems. good problems though, like having to hire a cleaner. Didn't you say you've been able to hire a new trainer as well, which takes you?
Yeah, so what's going to happen very soon, and it'll be a really good fit for us, is we got approached by one of the tertiary providers here. So they're looking, it's actually really hard for student trainers to get into industry. But because things are so crazy busy on this end, it's going to be very easy to include a person that's going to be really good in industry. You know how when you find those people and you're just like, that's a good person. If we can do a bit of training with them, they're just going to go out and help so much. Yeah, we found one of those. And by me being so inundated with good work, there's definitely stuff that that person will be able to kind of jump in and assist with.
That's so good. Richard, I'm proud of you, man. Like, really proud of you. This is a testament of what happens when there's a good client relationship between myself and the client. And, as I said, I can't take all the credit for this, but, I know a thing or two about marketing. I've had to learn it myself for my own three gyms over the last 7 years. And then that's been, I think from doing that, it's not just learning from a course. It's like you have to learn to be able to, with your own money. And it's dire straits that way. Like everybody listening knows. So I know that like every single dollar matters. And that's why I've got it to a point where I know that how to do things properly. And then I can now be able to help a lot of other gym owners like yourself, because this is what I'm passionate about. I'm a marketing geek at heart, and I love lifting. And I thought, let's bring them together, And
it works so well. I remember getting off the phone with one of the guys.
Yeah, don't say names.
Yeah, I won't say one of the names, but I remember getting off the phone because this person's signed up with one of the new members, and they said they looked at lots of 5-week ads and 8-week ads and all the rest, but for some reason, your one just spoke to them. They're like, normally I'll just have a quick look at it and I just go, This one, I clicked the button and I looked into it further. And that was a person that also completed the application form. Because I mean, see on Facebook, there's no shortage of people trying to advertise via that way, but I think there's only a really small number where it's actually super effective, and it's kind of going towards that point that you very much want.
Yeah. Well, Richard, this has been an awesome. This is only the beginning of our journey. Yeah. Obviously, what's your big goals? Just so people know where you want to take it, because obviously you've grown 35 members in the last couple of weeks, but you have some big lofty targets you want to hit.
Yeah, so I mean, for us, studio-wise, with the current class times, I mean, we'll have to see where members are fitting in on all the rest, so things aren't overbooked. But we can probably sit somewhere between that 100, 150 mark. And it could even go up to 200 as long as the systems are okay and we could introduce some new class times. And then, I mean, once this side of things is really, really, really humming and we're able to help this local community a great deal, then because I've done all the initial going through the trenches side of things, I'd be very happy to find a second location and to have someone pop in and manage this site, with me obviously being able to kind of touch base with them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So you want to be able to get it to full capacity, have the systems in place that you've built out over time, and obviously us working together, helping you with those certain elements. Yeah. And then on your side with the customer experience stuff as well, and then go again, duplicate it.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's one of the big things that, I mean, any business and every business needs it, is you've got to, particularly if you're in the service industry, is you need to have enough leads coming in, and your retention obviously needs to be pretty good too.
Otherwise, it's like water with holes in the bucket.
Yeah, exactly.
You got heaps coming in, but heaps going out. You don't want that.
And I mean, what the good thing is, I know from a lot of the things that we're already doing is those are easily replicatable. And I think the biggest thing for anyone in the health and fitness side of things is to really step back and take a kind of a bird's eye view of it, because there's so many hats. And I mean, you've got to be really selective with the ones that you wear and the ones that you outsource to as well. Because without Jimmy, I mean, we wouldn't be able to grow as quickly, like, yeah, in no way, shape or form. So I still remember back way when, where kind of the 2-year goal was to get numbers around that mark, but just getting there, just because the leads weren't coming in, you were just constantly hitting your head up against the wall.
Yeah. And here you are. So we should be able, look, even if we just say conservatively from after this month, you only do 20 a month after this, you're still going to be able to get there by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And that's being conservative. Like, obviously your numbers are going to be pushing closer to 40 people per month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, as we were saying, I mean, for us to have, 35 already, and then that was for me having to take a week off to tidy systems. So that was more so kind of 35 in about 2 weeks, we'll take. Yeah.
Which is incredible, by the way. So well done. Richard, thanks for sharing your story, mate. Just to recap, so people understand sort of the before and after, roughly around the 50 members paying $50 a week, but you're in business for 2 years, as you said, and was doing everything, doing the outreach, the cold outreach, door to door, trying to do a lot of organic social posts, building your personal profile, among a whole bunch of other strategies that just didn't work.
And the other thing, if I can interject, is how much it changes the vibe. Like, you know how when you're operating out of a place and you haven't had any new people kind of join for a bit and the class numbers drop down a little bit? That sucks. Like, I mean, that's horrible. It's hard for that not to kind of impact the members a bit and your team a bit.
And the morale, right?
Yeah, the morale, for sure. But if you've got a whole bunch of new people which have started up and they're fresh and they're kind of getting to say hey to the trainers and hey to the other new members, it gives them, it's that social proof thing. It gives them a bit of reinforcement that, hey, look, these people have jumped on board, this place must be a bit of all right.
Yeah.
And that isn't always, as we've chatted about, a direct reflection of how good the team is and how good the service is. But if you don't have a way of getting new leads, it's really, well, you can't generate that kind of atmosphere.
No. So that's the word, atmosphere. But like the classes are fuller. So people are like buzzing, the energy's higher. They're probably pushing a bit harder in the sessions, probably making some new mates, some new connections.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, you work here. You know what I mean? That's community is starting to really build and bond again.
Yeah. It's that whole in that regard, bigger is better. And as I was saying, when we choose our members definitely to an extent, and we'll chat through, hey, look, you might be really unfit at this point in time, but look, we're going to help you get to the goal. You're going to get fitter, you're going to get stronger, you're going to get real comfortable in this. And what you'll find is, look, a lot of members are going to help you out at the start. And when we get you to that point where you're really fantastic and you're really relaxed, it'd be nice if you could kind of do the same thing. And I kid you not, it's like we've got a team of trainers kind of just walking around the floor, because if ever anyone's even the littlest bit lost, they'll normally just kind of give them a little wave and point them in the right direction.
That's so good. Can I ask, like, because obviously I was doing a quick recap of before and after, but what what does it feel like now, having this like certainty that you've got this growth happening?
So much lighter, because the business side of things, and I mean, only business owners will ever know this. It's hard work, and you've got to put a lot of resources and a lot of time into something that's definitely not a certain thing. And to no longer have the worry about where the leads are coming from. I mean, to no longer have that worry, you talk across industry, if you could touch base with a person and you know when the ads are turned on, that you're getting leads, it's ridiculous. It's such a huge difference, because I mean, I'm not trained up as a marketer, so for me to go out and try and get leads, it's so hit and miss. I might get lucky, I might not get lucky, I might have to invest a lot of money, I might have to invest a lot of time. That's scary, because that's a huge unknown. Whereas for me to go, hey Jimmy, I've got too many leads, can you please turn off the ads so I can call them? Once I've called them, they'll turn the ads obviously back on again.
There was I remember there was days there where it was like ads on in the morning, and then an hour later, turn them off, and then back on, and then off, and we were going like that. So I think, to sort of interject a little bit here, it gives you confidence, doesn't it? Knowing that, hey, I've got new business rolling in at the flick of a switch, basically, which is telling Jimmy, hey, Jimmy, let's get some ads going.
Yeah, well, it really is that whole tap on, tap off thing with the pipeline. So, I mean, once the ads have been up and running, you're talking, probably an hour later, you've already got leads starting to come through.
Yeah, that's probably about right. There's roughly, once they get approved, there's about an hour delay before they start filtering out into the news feed.
Yeah.
But then once that happens, you can see it, right?
Yeah. And the other thing is, even when the people don't go in and fill in the form work, they're at least keen because they've looked at it, and you've got their details via cell phone and email. You can often contact them, and they're still members, which are good to go.
Yeah, so you're building a database as well that you can keep in the, if you like, keep them in the works by sending them helpful information, and then other offers. Maybe they're not maybe not the 12-week thing is right for them right now. Maybe they want I don't know, maybe they want something else. Like, you don't know yet until you contact them.
Yeah, and that's huge, and It is a financial commitment, and there's no way of kind of getting around that. But then if you look at it, in 2 weeks, you should be able to cover Jimmy's costs and the ad costs. And that's just by you picking up a phone and calling a whole lot of people.
People that want to be there.
Yeah, people that want to be there. Yeah, it's not cold calling. It's hot calling.
They put their hand up and said, hey, I know how much it is. I'm interested. Call me.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And it's funny because we were chatting through it earlier with regards to the ads, because they'll pick a set niche. It's like you're calling almost at the same person, or they're like brothers or friends of the same person, and it's just
we're attracting the same type of person with the ads, right?
Yeah, and you're chatting through very, very similar goals and very similar pain points with it too.
That's awesome, Richard. This is all we have time for today, my man.
Oh, got it. We'll have to do another one at some point.
Yeah, for sure. But it's always good. I think this is cool. Like, I like doing interviews with the clients because this is going to go on the podcast too. By the way, if you're listening, this is how Richard found me. He was listening to the podcast, and now you're going to be on it.
Oh yeah. Also, Jimmy, you're more than welcome to mention my phone number as well at some point in time, because as I'll
do this. I don't want to mention your phone number because you don't know how many people might listen to this. But what I might do is say they can
email or something down the bottom. That way I can have a look.
Well, they can just message your business page, STM Avalon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is the
because
Facebook
I
page.
must say that was like the chat we had was really, really good, but the chat I had with the Wellington guys, that was just so good too. Because as I said right back at the start, I mean, originally we had a couple of marketers and they were absolute rubbish. Like I was getting pretty much no leads, and it was either pro quo or they were charging considerable money. Whereas now, what? So 350 leads in it's not even 3 weeks, and that's with us having to turn the ads off for about a week.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Richard, you're a pleasure to work with, and that's really nice that you're offering the people, if they want to talk to you about your experience one-to-one, they can. But I'd suggest just messaging his business Facebook page, STM Fit Avalon, is what it will come up with. It's orange logo. It's orange, black, and white is your color scheme, isn't it? So if people are trying to look for it, and it's in New Zealand. And Richard, you're an absolute legend. Absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for sharing your stories and your insights, mate.
Yeah.
See ya.